Hey guys, so as you'll see from the title at the top of this file, it's simply called Getting to Grips with Finances, and it's an Excel sheet, fairly straightforward, split into two parts. The first one, annual payments, and then secondly, monthly payments, with a total at the bottom. And what I have done is I have put in a formula to automatically generate the equivalent, whether annual or monthly, just to make things easy. For instance, from the annual amount, it will divide that by 12 to give the monthly amount. I personally also like to include the name of the company or organization, just for easy reference, for say things like car insurance, where it's possibly on an automatic annual renewal. It makes it easy then to go back and find in your email, if you've had an email, to confirm the purchase for the previous year, so as you can check whether there's been much of a change, that sort of thing. And then I also record the valid until, or in other words, the renewal date, and that just allows me to keep track of which items will be coming up and when. I find that useful. So let's fill in a couple of examples. So let's say road tax. Now, personally, I don't need to pay road tax, thankfully, at present. I have no idea, but let's say £120. So just as an example, you'll see that that automatically then fills that down to £10 equivalent per month. The intention here being, of course, that because this is under the annual payments, that you're paying it in one fell swoop once per year. So we'll say that's the DVLA renewal, let's say June 22. Let me just think, what would we spend? Let's say, for instance, 250. House insurance, I'm going to say 150. These, I'm just making numbers up as I go along here. Yours may be substantially different. Hopefully everybody's TV license is the same. I forget exactly, I don't think it was quite 170, but in around that. Rates, that's due shortly here. MOT, I think, is about 31, 32, something like that. Now you may have some of these, you may not have others, and this is basically just a just an example. So as you can see, I've left some space, so if you have any other annual payments, you can add them in there, or obviously you can change the ones that I have already entered there to suit your own needs. I haven't provided a total at the bottom of that. I suppose you could. That's not a bad idea, actually. Probably should have done that. However, moving on. So actually, just I forget if I said already or not. The bit that's highlighted in green, that is where I suggest you enter your figures, and then this other column will calculate automatically. Now, whenever I put this online, I'm not going to protect the sheet, simply because I want to leave it as open as possible so that people can modify it to meet their own needs. So if we move on then to monthly payments, the obvious ones here are a mortgage. I forget how much I allowed for housing in my example, but we'll go with that. Credit card per month. I put all my sundry expenses on credit card. So all my shopping, anything that I buy whenever I'm out and about, food wise or anything like that. If you've got a store card, if you know what you typically spend, and if you're not sure, basically if you get a monthly statement, go back over this sort of past 12 months or so, and just work out an average, and go from there. And you'll probably not be too far out. Let me see. I'm not putting in sort of decimals and stuff like that because there's not an awful lot of point. Electricity is an interesting one. That is perhaps one that you might have difficulty with if you're on a prepaid meter like I am. Basically, when I top up my electric, I record the amount and I record the date and the balance. And then what you can do is kind of look back. I don't know, let's say you had let's say you had 5 top-ups over the space of the last 14 months. What you could do then is take the take the total of those and divide it by 14 to give you a monthly figure. That should be roughly about right. That's one way to do it. I'm not sure really how else you would do it. Perhaps, I suppose, if you were to look and see on your meter how much was remaining at the end of each month, and obviously then take into account any top-ups you had made, and do that over the course of a year, you would probably again come up with a fairly accurate figure. But it's a bit difficult perhaps. Now I've put in here shopping if not on credit cards. So in other words, if I don't know, let's say you pay cash, or you use your debit card for shopping rather than using your credit card, maybe factor that in there. I personally, as I say, I put it all on credit card, and I'll explain that in the future. I'm not going to explain it just now, but this is basically just to let you see how you might go about filling out these details. Now it is worth taking time on this, in my view, because you really do want to get it right, so that you have an overview of all the expenses that you incur, whether or not they would be discretionary spending or not. At the end of the day, there's no point in saying, well, you know, I don't want to include my lottery tickets in that, because at the end of the day, if it is something that you spend money on, then that should be included. As you can see at the bottom here, this has totaled all that together, and you can see the result of that. And the important thing is to know how much your spend is on an annual basis. Later we will compare that with your income, but I'm talking about your net income, and then we can see, compared to how much you earn how much you spend, then how much you should have available to invest each month, and how that translates into your target for financial freedom, also known as your F.I.R.E number. And from there you can figure out roughly how long it should take to get there. So as I say, obviously there's a bit of space there. You can add in extra items here as well, change the ones that are there, and so on. And of course, don't forget to fill in the provider and renewal dates if you wish to have that information easily ready to hand. It's a good reference. So guys, I will clear these fields before I put this online, just to let you see actually what's included in the calculation here. It includes all the cells that are noted there under the monthly payments, and also then those that are above for the annual payments, which I haven't totaled separately, but you could if you want. But if you do total them, make sure that you don't include that total again at the bottom here, because otherwise you'll be doubling your effective annual payments figure. Right guys, I think that is it for this one. Hopefully you find this useful, and the spreadsheet will be available to download within the resources section of the website. That is at soft.uk.free.fr, and the Telegram group is t.me/F.I.R.E NHS. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the content and find it useful, and by all means, if there's any feedback, feel free to leave it either below the video or in the Telegram group.